Hi dear students, welcome back to another session of genetics. Today we will be dealing with the probability theory, and it is a seminar which has been dealt by Aparna. Hope so you can understand it, and after that we will be dealing with problems related to probability.
Good morning. Today we are going to discuss on the topic laws of probability. We all are familiar with the topic probability. Probability is the branch of mathematics. Mendel was the first person to realize that probability can be used to predict the result of genetic process. What is probability? Probability is used to measure the chances or likelihood of an event to occur or a hypothesis being correct or a scientific prediction being true. In biology, it is used in predicting the outcome of a genetic cross or of a random experiment. Usually, the probability is expressed as symbol P. Probability ranges from 0 to 1. If probability is 0, it means no chances of an event happening. If probability is equal to 1, it means 100% chances of an event happening. From the probability formula, we can say that an event with certainty has a probability of 1 and an event that is an impossibility has a probability of 0. Probability that an event will occur is the number of favorable cases that is denoted by the letter A divided by the total number of possible cases that is denoted by the letter N. So P is equal to A by N. Probability can be determined either by observation, that is empirical, or by the nature of the event, theoretical. Empirical probability of an event is calculated by counting the number of times that event occurs and dividing it by the total number of times that an event could have occurred. Theoretical probability of an event is calculated based on the information about the rules and circumstances that produce the event. For example, we observe that about one child in 10,000 is born with phenylketonuria. Therefore, the probability that the next child born will have phenylketonuria is 1 by 10,000. The other examples are similarly, the probability of drawing the 7 of a club from a deck of cards is 1 by 52. Then another example is the probability of drawing a spade from a deck of cards is P is equal to 13 by 52, which is equal to 1 by 4. Next is the probability that an offspring from a self-fertilized dihybrid will show the dominant phenotype is P is equal to 9 by 16. Next, if the probability of an event happening is P and the probability of not happening is Q, so P plus Q is equal to 1. The probability of the completely dominant phenotype in the F2 of a self-dihybrid is 9 by 16. Then the probability of any other phenotype is 7 by 16. And when the two are added together, they equal 16 by 16 or 1. Next, what is combining probabilities? The basic principle of probability can be stated as follows. If one event has C possible outcome and second event has D possible outcomes, then there are CD possible outcomes of the two events. Next, mutually exclusive events. Mutually exclusive events are events in which the occurrence of one possibility that excludes the occurrence of the other possibilities. In the throwing of a die, for example, only one face can land up. Thus, if it comes up a 4, it pre-excludes the possibility of any of the other faces. Next, independent event. Independent events are events whose outcome do not influence one another. For example, if two dice are thrown, the face value of one die is not able to affect the face value of the other. They are thus independent of each other. Next, unordered events. Unordered events are events whose probability of outcome does not depend on the order in which the events occur. The probabilities combine both mutual exclusivity and independence. For example, when two dice one red and one green are thrown at the same time, we generally do not specify which die has which value. A 7 can occur whether a green die is the 4 or the red die is the 4. Next, laws of probability. First law is the addition law of probability or sum rule. The second is the multiplication law of probability or the product rule. The final, the binomial law or for probability. First, the sum rule. When events are mutually exclusive, the sum rule is used. The probability that one of several mutually exclusive events will occur is the sum of the probabilities of the individual events. This is also known as the either or rule. For example, what is the probability when we throw a die of it showing either a 4 or a 6? According to the sum rule, P is equal to 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6, that is equal to 2 by 6 is equal 1 by 3. The sum rule of probability is used to determine the probability of having one dominant trait in the F2 generation of a dihybrid cross. It is the sum of the probabilities of each individual with that trait. Here, the dominant trait is expressed in 3 by 4 of the offspring and the recessive trait is expressed in 1 by 4. So, the probability of getting the yellow seeds is equal to the sum of the probabilities of the individual event, that is equal 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4 is equal to 3 by 4. Next is product rule. When the occurrence of one event is independent of the occurrence of other events, the product rule is used. The product rule that the probability that two independent events will both occur is the product of their separate probabilities. This is known as the AND rule. For example, the probability of throwing a die 2 times and getting a 4 and then a 6 in that order is P is equal to 1 by 6 into 1 by 6, that is equal to 1 by 36. For instance, performing a cross between a plant with green wrinkled seeds and a plant with yellow round seeds produced offspring that had 3:1 ratio of green is to yellow seeds and 3:1 ratio of round is to wrinkled seeds. The characteristics of color and the texture did not influence each other. Consider how the product rule is applied to the dihybrid cross. We said that the probability of having the both dominant traits, for example, the yellow and round in the F2 progeny, is the product of the probability of having the dominant trait for each characteristics as shown here. That is 3 by 4 into 3 by 4 is equal to 9 by 16. Here we already discussed. Next is binomial theorem. Binomial theorem is used for unordered events. Probability that some arrangement will occur in which the final order is not specified is defined by the binomial theorem. Binomial law of probability distribution is found by terms of the expansion of the binomial expression P plus Q all raised to n, where n is the number of events and P is the probability of success and Q is the probability of failure. Binomial expression is of great help in solving genetical problems related to probability. If there are two events with alternate independent events having probabilities P and Q, then in n number of trials, the probability of various combinations of events is given by P plus Q all raised to n, where P plus Q is equal to 1. Binomial law of probability, when n is equal to 2, P plus Q all square is equal to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ. When n is equal to 3, P plus Q all raised to 3 is equal to P cube plus Q cube plus 3PQ square plus 3P square Q. Likewise, n equals 4. Then, if P is the chance of getting male child and Q is the chance of getting female child, then P plus Q all square is equal to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ. That is, P and Q is 0.5. So 0.5 square plus 0.5 square plus 2 into 0.5 into 0.5. Here, this is the binomial distribution formula. that is p of x is equal to n factorial divided by n minus x all factorial into x factorial into p raised to x into q raised to n minus x, where n this states that the count of number of ways an event can occur, and where x this deletes duplications. P is the probability of success for x trials, and Q is the probability of failure for the X trials. Thank you.